While I was relaxing and not expecting to see any new content from Digital Circus anytime soon, it turns out that the 6th episode will be released tomorrow. However, the wait is not passing quietly. On the contrary, the team of authors is actively fueling interest by generously sharing content related to the upcoming episode. The Wacky Watch website, which has been updated again, is actively developing and organizing another interactive event for viewers. But the surprises don't end there. A full trailer has already been published on the official Glitch YouTube channel, giving us a first glimpse of what to expect in the new episode. In addition, through a series of teasers, we get an idea of how the characters are divided into teams and how they plan to act. At the moment, 3 new teasers have been released, creating an atmosphere of anticipation and intrigue. Let's start with the newest teaser, which was released just recently. In it, we are introduced to Number Team Unmasked, a duo consisting of Zooble and Gangle. They stand under a lone spotlight, surrounded by thick darkness. Their poses are decisive, I would even say quite epic, and the weapons in their hands only emphasize their readiness for action. Particularly noteworthy in the teaser is how Gangle's ribbons wrap around Zooble. On Gangle's face, we see the mask of tragedy again, her usual expression, while Zooble now holds the mask of comedy. It looks as if the comedy mask was about to fall and break, but Zooble caught it and helped Gangle. The visual contrast between them and the other participants is emphasized by the background, which is gloomy and mysterious, reflecting their inner state. In previous episodes, we have already seen that these characters are far from superficial. Their behavior, their reactions, their aspirations, everything speaks of a deep inner conflict, of a search for themselves that has not yet been successful. Zooble constantly changes its details, as if trying to piece itself together from the fragments, to find the form that will finally feel like its own. Gangle, on the other hand, lives in a constant change of masks, where comedy is fragile and unreliable, inevitably giving way to tragedy. These traits unite them on a deeper level. Both feel broken, both do not accept themselves, and both are looking for a way out of a situation that seems endless. Thanks to this, in the last episodes, they became best friends, and so their union into one team seems quite logical. I think that, in principle, the participants are distributed in this way for a reason. Each team seems to embody the inner state of the characters. The caption to the teaser sounds very decisive. Now, this is my kind of team, full of zest and confidence, ready to cause absolute chaos. Whether that be to themselves or others is anyone's guess. These words seem to say that they are no longer hiding behind masks and details. They are ready to act. Now, let's turn our attention to the second duo featured in the Number Team Pew teaser. At first glance, Kinger and Regata seem completely different. One is the embodiment of chaos and madness. The other is the image of restraint and anxious prudence. Unlike the gloomy and serious atmosphere of the previous team, the visual style of this teaser is filled with bright colors and dynamics. Against the backdrop of the Digital Circus, Kinger, as expected, chases butterflies, completely calm and immersed in his own world, oblivious to those around him and any potential threats. Next to him, Regata, on the contrary, looks confused and tense. She stands in a posture full of anxiety with weapons in both hands, a pistol in one and a rifle in the other, trying to aim in different directions at the same time, clearly not knowing where to expect danger. Her gaze is full of fear, and her body seems frozen in indecision. This visual contrast creates the illusion of opposition, but if you dig deeper, it becomes clear that they have much more in common than meets the eye. Kinger, who lost his wife, has long since lost touch with reality, and his behavior is not just eccentricity, but the result of deep trauma. But despite this, he still has the ability to care, to empathize, to show humanity. In the 3rd episode of the show, we already saw how he can be attentive and even wise, albeit for brief moments under certain conditions. Regata is a character who outwardly strives to appear balanced, friendly, and reliable. But behind this mask lies fragility, anxiety, and constant tension. Her movements are often jerky and uncertain. Her laughter is nervous and her jokes are not always appropriate. All this suggests that she is on the verge of collapse, balancing between trying to save face and her inner turmoil. This is particularly evident in the 5th episode, where Regata almost loses control of herself and lashes out at Jax, making it clear that her stability is only an illusion. Thus, despite their external differences, Kinger and Regata seem to be united by a common theme, that of internal instability. In Kinger, this is expressed in the form of madness. and in Regata in the form of an anxious mask of normality. This is what makes their duo so interesting and extraordinary. The description of their team sounds ironic. These fearsome-looking characters sure do put the fear of God into you. Well, maybe not fear, but maybe chaos. Diet chaos. Vote for them now. This phrase, filled with humor and slight mockery, emphasizes that their strength lies not in intimidation, but in unpredictability. Throughout the previous episodes, Pomni always seemed very quiet, calm, and very insecure, unlike Jax. From the very first minutes of the show, he shows his sarcastic character, and sometimes with very cruel jokes and actions. But despite this, in the 5th episode, the two seem to have found common ground and begun to grow closer. And judging by the trailer for the new episode, they will become a very well-coordinated team. Even Pomni will begin to show his slightly crazy character, starting to take this place a little easier, as Jax himself does. I would also like to mention another teaser that shows the overall dynamics of the upcoming episode. It features all the participants of the show, and the composition of the frame immediately sets the tone. Tense, conflictual, eventful. The focus is on Jax and Pomni, standing side by side as if ready to challenge the rest. Their poses express determination, and their gazes express confidence, which was not so characteristic of Pomni before, but now, apparently, is becoming part of her new image. In this teaser, her expression reminded me of evil Pomni from the 5th episode. This suggests that something will cause Pomni to behave like her evil doppelganger. Perhaps it will be an attempt to please Jax. Jax, as always, maintains his cocky confidence. The other participants create a contrast to them, each expressing their own reaction to what is happening. Gangle, depicted at the moment of the attack, looks confused, as if she herself does not fully understand what she is doing and why. Kinger, on the contrary, retains his usual crazy look, as before, living in his own world. Regata and Zubul attract particular attention. Their images in the teaser are filled with tension, determination, and, most notably, anger. Their gazes are directed at Pomni and Jax, and they convey not just irritation but a desire for revenge, to restore justice, or perhaps to express pent-up resentment. Towering over the entire scene is Kane, an artificial intelligence that was originally presented as a benevolent and caring curator of the digital circus. However, with each episode, his behavior became increasingly unstable and his decisions less logical. We have already seen how his words and promises diverge from reality, but the team trials in which participants have to shoot at each other clearly contradict his original principles. Kane's statements that the circus is a place without strife and aggression now sound like empty words, not backed up by actions. Kane's gradual descent into madness is evident not only in his behavior, but also in how he interferes with the structure of the show itself and its interaction with viewers. What do you think about this? Which team interests you the most? Who do you think deserves to win? Share your opinion in the comments, and I will be sure to read them. The best comments will be featured in new videos. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Good luck, everyone, and see you soon.